Has American media lost all creativity? This is Rabbi Son, hot takes on news, pop culture, and religion, hosted by Rabbi Patrick, that's me, and my son Javon, that's this guy. Spiritual, irreverent, always fearless, produced by Darshan Yeshiva. Let's all take a guess. We did this last time about how Javon is doing. Javon, how are you doing today? Yeah, because he's always fine.
Exactly.
Fine as can be. We just came from the gym. That was exciting. Yeah. Well, you were like doing 150 pounds on the leg presses.
Exactly. I'm just naturally strong.
Naturally strong and very humble, very demure.
I'd be humble.
All right. So the question that we've been thinking about lately is about Hollywood and has it lost all creativity? And have we lost all of our creativity as well? And we have a few quotes from Pure Vote about that. But Javon, tell us about like the remake and live action phenomenon from your perspective.
I mean, I don't know what's the perspective. I mean, they're just like coming out with the same old. And like there's nothing new. There's no new original content. Like they have for the lineup of upcoming live action movies.
Okay.
Moana, Snow White, Lilo and Stitch, Mufasa. Like we've heard those stories already.
Right.
Why can't there be something different? It's not like you don't have plenty of material to pull from because there's like how many books out there about
anything
really. And then it's just like we've seen Lilo and Stitch, we've seen Moana hasn't even breathed well enough. Like the second movie just came out,
right? Yeah, I was about to say, didn't the second movie just come out? Second animated movie, yeah,
to make it a live action when like no one was asking for that. Like,
right.
It's just like once they have like this good product, it's like, oh, how many movies can we churn out? And then it's just like, for example, one of the movies that are come back out, it's so they like to do reboots. They like to reboot franchises.
Yep.
But one of the movies I was excited for, The Strangers, came out this year. The Strangers Part 1. Because they announced they were going to do a Part 3, which I don't think they should have announced. Like, because then it's like, there's no surprise. Like, there's no...
Got it.
Like, you know the people, the antagonists, are going to survive.
Right, yeah, movies. Sure, yeah.
And then they did the same thing with Halloween. Same studio, by the way. Like
they think this is a good technique, and so they're repeating it over and over again.
Yeah, but it's not, though.
Right.
Then you're like, then what's the point of the second movie?
Right.
That like voids the second movie because you already know like little things of significance is going to happen. It is not like
no, I get it. It
takes away the stakes. It takes away the mystery, like the mystery going into the film about like what's going to happen.
I mean, that's how I felt about Wicked on some level. I'm like, I know there's going to be another part, and then I know it's going to be the Wizard of Oz. So like, you know, sure, it was kind of fun to see the Easter egg kind of stuff, but like. Yeah, other than that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like...
The movie was great, though, in spite of that, but whatever.
I just feel like there just needs to be... People need to read more books.
Okay.
And people need to pivot towards something new instead of something that's like, oh, we can make money off of this.
Right. Well, this is my constant frustration with why aren't there more sort of like, if we're going to do like princess stories or we're going to do like fairy tale type stories, tell South American stories, tell, you know, Africa is a gigantic continent. I'm sure we can find a lot of really cool.
The most you got from Africa was Lion King.
Right. Which isn't an African story. It's King Lear, I think. Actually, is the story that Lion King is based on. It's Shakespeare
set up in Africa, so like but like no, like they could do Disney especially could do more with a lot of other content or get new content or make what happened to
write some stories.
Exactly, there are so many legends out there. Like mythology is like a great thing.
Yes,
to write stories about.
Sure.
To write a movie around.
Sure.
And like people would be excited for that.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm learning this like a whole new mythology, like this new character.
Right.
And then it's like, you know, people are learning something new, they're interested in something new, and then you can like, you know, you can still branch off of that. And like with mythology, you have so many different characters.
Sure.
That like you know, it's not like you're going back to the same formula.
Right.
Like the same take from the animated movie, and then when we transition over, it's like copy paste.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting stories in the Bible that if you did modern versions of them, that like actually they'd be really good because they would involve like lust and murder and like Succession type stuff.
See,
and
that could be like a whole TV series.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't say that it's the Bible. Don't say that it's like, I mean, you could say it's based on it, but like, don't make it a Bible movie. Instead, you have like sorcerers and prophets and kings, and like it could be a whole, you know, it could be like a whole thing, you know, but like set it in modern times. So like the king is the CEO, the prophet is like some person who, you know, is outside of the skyscraper screaming at people or like doing whatever. Yeah, like you could really do creative stuff, but instead we're going to make like Moana 5, but live action.
Yeah, but like they see it as a product that makes money, so they're like,
right,
why do anything different?
Right. Well, this kind of goes actually into something that I was watching and I regret that I can't remember who did it, but it was a little sort of mini doc, if you will, about creativity, and it was about content and how. Basically, when you go on TikTok or Instagram, with the exception of us, because this is kind of a unique situation we got here, it all looks the same, right? Like, you know, the that cup phenomenon comes out, right? And everybody, you know, is interested in talking about like Stanley Cups. And then you got to make every influencer is making a Stanley Cup video, right? Or like every video of someone like either like by a pool in front of a mansion. I heard that there, and I don't know where this is, but I think maybe somewhere in LA, there's a hangar, an airplane hangar, and there's an airplane that you can rent, not to fly in, but just to film content in, so that you can look like it's your private jet.
Yeah, see, and that also goes to the problem of, you know, translates to like kids,
right?
Like people are living this lifestyle. But
yeah,
no, they're renting. Like
right,
all these designers,
it's all fake.
They're renting. You think someone just because like it's a like rarity on social media that people like actually make like a buku amount of money.
Oh yeah,
so that they can buy that stuff.
Right.
Like, if you think someone's like having this like you know Patek watch, this like Cartier,
right?
Like, yeah, they have it right for rent.
Right,
like,
they don't necessarily own it.
Giving it back.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can go, you know, rent out a mansion, you know, well, not anyone, but, you know, they have the funds necessary to like rent out.
Airbnb actually has to have a policy like that. You have to like, as the host, you have to put the policy, do not film in here, because there's people that will like get like a mansion for a day or a weekend or whatever, and they're not staying there. I mean, maybe they are staying there, but like they're using it for content. They're using it for like, look at my luxurious home and all this other stuff. But then it all starts to look the same. It's all homogenous. Like, can you imagine how stupid our podcast would be if it was like us doing this by like a pool or like wearing Cartier or like from an airplane? Like it would just, I mean, but like that's what people keep seeing. And there was a quote from Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it was basically thematically what he was saying is that he thought in the future, because of AI, there's going to be more content and it's going to be more addictive. So like we're going to get better and better at like Moana 12 live action, right? We're going to make more like Stanley Cup, the musical that becomes the movie, that becomes the content, that becomes the podcast, that, right? Constant replication of like you find something that works and you just keep doing it in overdrive, and we're going to love it. We're going to be glued to it. But the problem is we will have lost art. Like, yeah,
see,
you know,
here's the thing with music, because people were just talking about this.
Okay.
With artists stepping out of their comfort zone and people like loving it. Like, for example, like Beyonce. Spotify just announced that Beyonce got 36 million people to start streaming country music.
Wow. Okay.
Like,
just because she made a country album and it introduced people.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's totally awesome. I love it.
Exactly. So like these artists, like in some of these labels, like because sometimes these artists sound like the same. Like it's like all the same stuff, but like a different beat and like a different melody. Like I am disappointed in.
Oh no, he's gonna throw shade at some artists. Oh no,
I'm throwing shade at a genre.
Okay.
Well, like hip hop has become very repetitive.
Okay.
Like both male and female hip hop are talking about the same thing. I think people are missing the fact that you have to be poets first.
Right.
Like you have to be able to say this one thing in like 10 different ways.
Right.
And like instead of just like it just being the same thing. People who are considered like hip hop legends did not, they were over there, rapping about like things that were happening in their life, things that happened to them, like, or things going around them, and being able to convey that in like many different ways. But now it's like, it's like everything sounds the same. Everyone's talking about the same thing. It's It's actually getting old.
Yeah.
Like, and then like with the pop stuff, I mean, still generic. Mm-hmm. Like there is no like people and labels don't want to step outside the comfort zone because they're like, we're not going to make any money.
Right. Or and it's this repackaging of like, so you take, okay, well, here's what works. Okay, well, if you're this and you play this and you write about this, okay, great. Well, let's just draw a circle around all of that. Okay, that's an artist we can sell. It's marketing. It's just marketing as the art form. It's the artist Andy Warhol, I think maybe somewhere around here, I've got some Andy Warhol prints and stuff like that, said famously that in the future, everyone would be world famous for 15 minutes. And he's absolutely right, because the internet like gives you that. But the problem too is that when it's all just commerce, when like the art is commerce and where commerce is the art form, then like, at what point is it all just vapid, right? At what point is it just like, I'm going to go into AI and I'm going to be like, write a hip hop song as though I have such and such a background or whatever. And then it spits it out, and then like go into your AI, like, band generator, like Garage Band, but with AI, make an album or make a song that sounds like it has like 60s soul influences, but is using 90s hip hop, but, use auto-tune. Bam. And then it's like, okay, suddenly now, like, I'm not even a rapper. I don't even have to, like, I can replicate my own voice.
Yeah.
And just be like, type it in and bam, now I've got me rapping.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a terrible idea. That people were like, if you weren't writing, that was a knock against you. But now it's like so many people who are now not writing are being like allowed into this space.
Got it.
And are gaining like, traction and are getting like, all these accolades. But it's like, no, like the people in the beginning, like they made sure that they knew everyone, like that they wrote that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They write their stuff.
Yeah,
no one else writes.
Right.
Because then it was like, oh, you don't write your stuff? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, you're just faking. You're not real. Like, it is just like, you're just like this presentation. Like, you need to write. And sometimes, like, writing, it's not just like you need to write, but you need to write. Because, like, who knows you?
Yeah.
Like, you know you better than anyone else.
Well, that was where like Kesha got her start, right? Because she was like a songwriter, and then they were like, "Oh, wait, actually, like you could do it." And was Lady Gaga like that too, or was it just Kesha? I don't remember.
I thought didn't Lady Gaga write her own music?
She does, but I was saying wrote for other people. And then like
I don't know. I thought she was just doing like she just did
Lady Gaga,
and then just like did like the underground thing, and then like.
And she just blew up from there. Well, so I think it was Kesha then who she started off by writing for other pop artists.
Yeah.
And then later it was like, oh, wait, you could just be a pop artist.
Yeah. And there are some writers who are stepping into like being an artist.
Oh, like, really?
Yeah. One of the ones, Money Long, she used to write for Rihanna. She wrote California King Bed.
Okay.
For Rihanna.
Okay.
And then she wrote her breakout was like Hours and Hours.
Okay.
Which was everywhere.
Right.
And like, she's stepping from behind the curtain.
And are these people writing are these lyricists, like these the ones writing that, or are they actually like producing the music and all of that too?
No, writing.
They're writing. Okay.
Yeah. I don't some people like some artists do write and produce their own music, but like how many artists know how to produce that?
Yeah, I mean I wrote everything I sang. I think with like maybe one exception, there was one band I was in where me and one other person, it wasn't like 50-50 necessarily, but like we collaborated tremendously on the lyrics. But everyone's always written other music. Like I've never written a song like instrumentally in my life. I wouldn't know how to do it. I can't play anything. But the idea that there's people that sing other people's songs is a strange idea to me. I get doing covers, but like the idea that there's like, I go into your office and be like, hi, like write a song for me. Yeah. I got offered that once. I had a guy, he gave me 2 songs that were just instant rock songs. And he said, here's the themes. I need you to write them. But it was going to be this problem of like, okay, well then who owns the songs and all this other stuff. So then he went on ahead and just did it. But
I mean, that writer's credit, that sweet writer's credit.
I thought when I was in music, I thought that was the direction it was going to go in, is that being in a band was only ever going to work out sort of so much. And so I needed to come up with other things that were in the periphery. So I was like, I could start basically like Atlanta is a great place because I was a rocker, but like I looked at what hip hop dudes did and I was like, it's fashion, it's parties, it's alcohol, it's, it's all the other too. Yeah, well, that's right.
Like the faking, like the putting on this lifestyle, and you don't have any money. And then like when it comes out that you actually don't have any money, then it's like...
Well, fortunately in garage rock, the more of a bum you looked... and the more the bum of a life you had. It's the opposite of hip hop. There is no fronting because like if you're playing punk rock, you kind of have to look like a bozo. But so moral of the story is that we've lost a lot of creativity in this world. Be creative, take chances, live life. All right, this is Rabbi and Son. Thanks so much. Thank you to our sponsors at Darshan Yeshiva for making this content possible. Darshan Yeshiva provides beginner-level online Jewish learning, including the very popular Conversion to Judaism program, with sponsoring rabbis and students all over the world. Start your Jewish journey any place, anywhere, and anytime with our conservative, reform, reconstructionist, Jewish renewal, humanistic, and post-denominational rabbi mentors. Become the Jew you always wanted to be with Darshan Yeshiva.